Now remember, we talked about this. No more jokes in these videos. We have some serious learning to do, and there's just no room for jokes. Got it? Did you hear me? All right, great. So I'm going to put this mirror down. You're going to click on record, and we'll start. All right, so mirrors down, press record, click, and then here we go. Hey, everybody. In this video, I want to talk about Module 9. Let's start with the roadmap. Looking at number 1, you have readings from the textbook, chapters 5 and 16 relating to the topic of images. And then I provided a Module 9 course materials folder. And I want to point out a couple of things about that. Looking inside, you have some things to look over. And then I provided PDFs inspired by chapters 5 and chapter 16. But these are certainly not a substitute to reading the textbook, all right? So ensure that you read the textbook. And there's a couple of videos in there, and then one more link at the bottom. And I want to look at chapter 5 real quick with you. So go to chapter 5, and then when you get to this portion where it says 3 rules for creating images. Number 1 is, let me zoom in a little. Number 1 is certainly always relevant. You want to make sure that you're using the correct format. So when it comes to JPEGs, those will be great for pictures. And then I hesitate because I know this is controversial, but I call them GIFs because the original developer, right? He said, choosy developers choose GIF. So many of you might say, well, that's a GIF. So it's a GIF, all right? So, or let's just call it a GIF. How's that? All right? Yeah, let's go with that. So with this file format, this is great for logos and stuff like that. Something that doesn't have very many colors, unlike photos. And then the last one, ping files. These are great for when you need transparencies. And then the third rule, that's also relevant because we do measure in pixels. And then number 2, that's the part that I just kind of say, okay, that rule works all right if we were developing fixed width pages, which we are for this class because we're learning about coding, the basics of HTML and CSS. However, out in the real world, out in the wild, we don't really see that anymore. And you all talked about that in one of your quizzes where I asked you, what's your experience with fixed width pages? And you said, none. So at the current year, whatever year you're looking at this video, we don't really see it anymore. And that's because we've moved on, right? Now we got responsive images. So when we have responsive images, responsive pages, we don't necessarily have to save images at a particular width and height because it's not just going to display in one size. So I pulled up 2 examples. So here's the UCM homepage, and I'm interested in this first photo here. So take a look at that, right? There's the quad, and I went ahead and found the link to the picture being used in this slideshow. And as you can see, the top and bottom are cropped out. So let me refresh that. So see, it's cropped out. It's taking the entire width like you see in this picture. But when I resize the browser window, you see more of it, but it's not at that particular width and height. It's responding, right? It's always filling the entire width, but you're seeing more of the image also. So that means that we can't really say it has to be this particular width or this particular height. And then here's another example, this image right here. Well, this is the actual size of the image. So it's 1,000 pixels wide by 350 pixels. However, it's been made to be responsive so that it's not always going to display at 1,000 pixels. So right now, I don't know how wide it is, but it's not 1,000 because it's responsive to whatever's going on with the browser window size. And then this page right here is actually the link at the bottom, this responsive images link. And I included this as one of your readings because it gives you an opportunity to try it yourself. And I'm like, yes, I'm definitely going to try it myself because that's the way to learn this stuff, right? So here's a couple of examples for you to kind of learn your way around that. All right, let me close out of these just because I'm done talking about them. And let's move on. Number 2, assignment 5. So assignment 5 is related to assignment 4. So a prerequisite to assignment 5 is actually completing assignment 4. And assignment 4 is about taking what you did for assignment 2. So see again, right? We are building onto things. Excuse me. So we're building onto things. And so if you miss one assignment or didn't complete it, then you're just making it harder for yourself, right? And you're missing out on all these points. And yeah. So anyway, assuming that you finish all that, assignment 2, assignment 4, now we're ready to move on to assignment 5. Now, assignment 4, if you don't know our assignments by numbers, like, why don't you? Assignment 4 was about creating the HTML of your homepage. So just concentrating on that. And then that HTML was based on the mockup or wireframe that you created from assignment 2. And so now we're ready to add the CSS. We're ready to dress up our web pages so that they look like web pages instead of something that looks like a Word document. And so that's what this project is about, this assignment. And so what you can do so you don't carry over coding errors from assignment 4 is to take a look at feedback that I gave you and then also feedback from your classmates who took a look at your page and then make adjustments to your HTML. And then from there, you can start creating your web page. So go over all the instructions here. And this part number 7, please do not use any kind of inline or embedded CSS. I want you to accomplish all of your formatting using an external CSS. And also I've seen in some classes that I didn't specify this, so I'll go ahead and do this. And I might include that in the description if I can remember after this video. Please don't use HTML formatting also. So that's stuff like the letter B for making things bold or the italic tag, letter I, for making things italic. Please use external CSS for that. And then let's see. Oh, here's an important one right here. So assignment 2 was creating your ideas or showing me your ideas for how you want your webpage to look or how you want it to be organized or just kind of, a basic idea of how you think it should be laid out. Well, I'm telling you here that you're not tied to that original design. So it could be that you change your mind or whatever. So it could totally look different from that. I'm not going to look at your assignment 2 and say, okay, does it compare? Because I want this to be like a thing that evolves based on just what you want to do. Because you do have some time before it's a final product for your website project. And then here's a part that I started including. So starting with module 9, I put a note on there about why I would like for this to be completed on week 11. So that would be Monday, October 26th. And that's because I want to give you enough time to get feedback so that you can use it to get started on assignment 6, module 11. So around the time that this assignment is due, I want to grade it, and then you'll have an idea of what I think and adjustments you can make. So then you can use that to help you complete assignment 6. So again, there's that building on, right? So that's what's going on there. And then lastly, there's just that constant reminder that there's a website project. So you're already working towards that because of assignment 5 and previous assignments. And there's just a note on there about how assignment 5 from module 9, this current module, is due Monday and it's related to the website project. And there's the course related questions if you want to ask a question that you all can answer. And as of a few minutes ago, yeah, as of right now, there's nothing in there. So this is September 29, 2020. But uh, yeah. All right. So that's it for this video. Happy coding, everybody.